that thing. Hi. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
We're back. We're back. This is the Andy and Amanda program 2022, January 3, 2022, after a well-deserved, I don't know about that, but at least anyway, I don't know if it's well-deserved or not, but we had a nice Christmas, New Year break. We've been off for a while, and we're back, and we're back to an internet format radio talk show with Andy Kimball here and Amanda Love in the UK, except being internet, Amanda's having some problems getting onto the show. We do have the person who introduced us, the person who made this whole thing possible, the originator of the Andy and Amanda concept, is on the line, none other than the great, the talented, what's his name? The great, the talented,
Who's that guy?
Happy New Year.
Who's that guy?
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year's. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's. It's a new year.
Merry Christmas. All that good stuff. Did you have a good break?
Yes. Birthday. Happy birthday. Everything.
Yes. I had a birthday the day after Christmas. That's absolutely true and correct. I did. Another year older, although I can't believe it. And I think we have somebody joining us here from Hawaii. I'm thinking it might be. Is this Chet?
Aloha. Aoli
Hey, aloha, Chad. How you doing?
I'm staying dry and warm.
Hey, at least you're dry and warm. Over here, it's like snowing in the East Coast. It's like 6 inches.
Oh, really?
Yes.
We keep our snow up at the top of the mountains where it belongs.
Definitely. It's great to hear from you, Chad. It's great to hear from you too, Andy. It's amazing.
You know
yes,
what?
definitely.
It's been a good year so far.
So far, been all right. I can't complain. Did you have a good Christmas and a good New Year over there in Hawaii, Chet?
Pretty laid back, mostly gigging. And watching football.
Awesome.
Watching football. Hey, how about them Eagles? Woo! In the playoffs.
Yes.
The Eagles. Green Bay
Yeah,
Packers.
Hey, Andy, I fell asleep. Did we get it? Did we get in?
We got it. 49ers won, Packers won. We're in the playoffs. And of course, Philadelphia Eagles demolished the Washington Redskins. I was a little concerned the first quarter, but as the game progressed, they got it together, and man, they were showing their stuff and how good they really are. It's really something. Let's talk football for a minute. And I'm in LA, and also the Chargers and the Rams here in Los Angeles are both going to be in the playoffs. It looks like so. It's I'm a football addict, so for me, I'm having a blast with all this stuff. I live and breathe football, so we should do the sports show. You know what I'm saying? That's how much I love football. But anyway,
and my favorite college did well.
Who's that? Which college?
University of Georgia.
Georgia. Yeah.
Bulldogs.
There we go.
Rematch.
Yeah, another one. And and how about that Rose Bowl? Holy smokes! With Ohio State and Utah.
That was entertaining.
Man, Ohio State. I don't know who else scored that one. I really don't know who else scored that one. I don't know. I used to live in Columbus, which is where Ohio State is, so I kind of have an affection for Columbus and Ohio State because I was right there for a while. But Utah is in the conference where I am now in Southern California with USC, Oregon, Utah, Arizona. So that's kind of cool. But Ohio State.
That's the Pac-29 now, huh?
Yeah, I can't keep track anymore. I'm in the Pac-12, 29. I don't know. I have no idea.
Pac-8 is what I remember.
Yeah, wow. It is a while back. I had Pac-12, and now it's. But the Eagles are in the Philadelphia Eagles are in my hometown team. They are in the playoffs. Are they going to go far? Most of the year, they played losing teams. However,
yes,
so they beat the teams that they should have obviously could have beat. They started 3-5 or something, 2-5 out of the gate, and everybody was kind of writing them off. Then they came back. I think the defense is a little suspect. I think the quarterback has potential. What's his name? I forget his name. Hurts.
Yes.
Yeah. I like the guy. Kind of reminds me of a combination of Michael Vick and Donovan McNabb. Run, throw.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, Yeah,
with a little bit of Jerry Rice.
A little bit, yeah. I think I like the guy. And he's got, he's given some time. But the fact that the Eagles are in the playoffs again, to me, with their new coach and the whole 9 yards, the whole system there is pretty, I'm still bleeding green here in California. So good for the Philadelphia Eagles. So if you want to call into our show, it's 515-605-9888. This is the 2022 season of the Andy and Amanda Show. Amanda couldn't make it on our first show of the year, but we do have Seth on the line, who's a good friend of the show and a frequent caller, and we have the show coordinator on the line, Coordinator Butler, who made this all possible. So if you want to join the conversation about football, or anything else to talk about, of course, how was your New Year? How was your Christmas? Did you have a good time? What's your revolution for the year? What's it? Is it revolution? No.
Yeah,
revolution. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes. Your resolution for the year, let us know. 515-605-9888 is how you do it. And I got some news for you, folks. We are, this quarter, within the first 2 months of the year, pencil this, don't pen it in, but pencil it in. You're going to be hearing the Andy and Amanda Show on Real Broadcast Radio. This show is destined to be on radio within the first 3 months of this year, and that'll be so cool. Not that I'm complaining about Blog Talk Radio, and they gave us a platform to get this thing going and to produce something that became a podcast, which is being downloaded all over the place, and all the popular podcast networks, and streams, iHeartRadio and iTunes and TuneIn Radio and Pandora and all these different places you can hear the show. And people do listen to the show after it's already produced, and we thank everybody, and we thank Blog Talk Radio for giving us the platform to be able to put all this together. Because, after all, none of us are professionals here. We don't know what we're doing. We got to put this thing out, and lo and behold, 300 some odd episodes later, we're still doing it, and we're destined to go on to Real Radio. Will we maintain a Blog Talk show? We might. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But anyway, that's where this show is headed, and we're confident of that. I'm not exactly sure what the timing's going to be, but it's going to be a whole new adventure. Can you imagine we're going to have to really go, Cornell to say, and we'll be right back after this break, and actually play a real commercial? I'm rehearsing. We'll be right back after this brief message. How's that sound?
Yes, definitely. Now, here's the word from our sponsor.
Work on your lead-ins for Viagra and Bud Light.
Well, Chet, that's what we're going to be talking about. That's what you do.
Hey, Andy, can you lean into the microphone a little more?
Am I faint?
You're kind of faint.
Let me see. Does this help? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this getting better? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this better? Check.
About the same.
I wonder why I'm faint. I'm feeling a little dizzy. Wait a minute. Should be all right. I don't know. Okay, I can lean in a little bit better. Is this a little better? Oh,
It is what it is.
It sounds kind of fine, but we'll deal with it.
I can hear Cornell a lot better.
I wonder.
Gosh, we were supposed to do this before the show started.
We were.
Yes, sir.
That's how professional we are here.
It's good. It's okay.
I'm showing the clipping. I'm showing the clipping like going on here in our Coast to Coast studios. It's showing the clipping. So it must be something beyond anything we can do here. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
Forget I said anything.
No, you're fine. You're fine, man. It's awesome. Let me ask you a question. When during Christmas, the holiday season, what was you guys watching? What was you doing? I mean, basically, was y'all watching a lot of movies? Did y'all catch up with some things that to catch up with?
Let me see. So I saw Elf, the movie Elf, around Christmas time. Remember Elf? And I saw Robin Williams.
Yeah, that's a great movie, man. That's a cool movie. Yes,
and also Robin Williams and Sally Fields and Mrs. Doubtfire.
Wow.
I saw that. I saw part of Christmas Story because a friend of mine, and also a good friend's son, same person, R.D. Robb, played Schultz, the little kid who says, triple dog dare you to put the other kid to put his thumb on the frozen Christmas on the pole. So I know that guy. Of course, he's in his upper 40s right now, but he was a little kid when he said that. But everybody knows the movie Christmas Story, and R.D. Robb was in it. He played that part. He's a buddy of mine now. It's kind of cool. I said, God, you were the same kid. You said a triple dog dare. Yeah, it's kind of cool. He was also in Matilda and a bunch of other movies. But right now we had Rodney. Remember? No, we had Rodney Robb on the show, and Rodney's wife.
Yes.
And R.D. Robb on Station 3, which is a premier talent management company in New York and L.A. And so that's what R.D. does now. He still does a few acting gigs here and there, but primarily he runs with his mom, Edie Robb, Station 3 here in L.A. And you know what?
Yes.
I got to ask. I've done a whole bunch of TV shows and been in some movies myself, and they won't hire me. So anyway, so much for that career.
Hey, it's never too late. It's never too late.
Never too late. No. How about you?
Maybe they'll do a show called The Golden Boys. You can get in on that.
Yes, right.
Yeah. Well,
you could do the Betty White character.
Oh, I'm sorry, not Betty.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Betty White. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't say. Yes, I'm sorry.
John Madden.
Yes, he passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, December 30th. He
had a lot of video games.
And you know who else went? I'll tell you who else, which is sudden and totally unpredicted.
Betty White?
John Madden.
John Madden, of course.
Betty?
No. Lisa Roy.
Oh, yeah.
Roy. Oh, my God. She suddenly died December 31st. Of course, she had a long 4-year relationship with Danny Kochmeyer, a part of the immediate family, playing Leonard Leland Sklar, and Waddy Wachell, guitar player. They were all back in Jackson Browne and James Taylor, back in the old days. They also played Troubadour behind Carole King and James Taylor. And Lisa Roy was the coordinator of the band. That backup band is now a band called The Immediate Family, and they're doing a documentary because these guys back and toured near Jackson Browne, running on empty. James Taylor's original band, Carole King's original band, and they've now just started. They're playing Lauren Zevon's band. These same guys, these same musicians, and they started a band called The Immediate Family. And Lee Sklar lives very close to me here in the Pasadena area of California. I know him, and a wonderful, wonderful guy. You should check out his YouTube videos if you guys want to see and hear some of the. Lee Sklar has been on over 2,500 albums, and he does almost a daily show on YouTube, and he tells stories about working with so many great. The who's who list, of musicians, Toto and Phil Collins, and of course Jackson Browne and James Taylor, and the list goes on and on and on. Elton John, the list goes on and on. And he gets on YouTube. He's such an approachable, likable guy, and he's a very laid-back fashion. He talks a lot about the stories about working with these guys. He takes out his bass and he'll play along with the song, show you how he did what he did. But anyway, Lisa Roy died unexpectedly on December 31st, and she was and Danny Kochmeyer were so connected at the hip. I mean, each other's soulmates, and he's having a real tough time with that right now. Of course, we wish all of Lisa Roy's friends and family and so forth, Danny, all the very best from the Andy and the Amanda show. But so John Madden, man, I wonder what's going to. Man, that really took me for a. Yeah.
Oh man, I thought we left him back in 2021.
Yeah, it's a really shame.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
Yes.
It is.
Definitely.
It's like the hokey pokey. You put your right foot in, you take your right foot out, you put your right foot in, you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. Boom! That's what
Yeah.
I was a hardcore Raider fan when he won the Super Bowl. Let me tell you, sweating bullets that
man.
game.
Oh my God!
So you remember Bo Jackson?
Oh yeah. Actually, I lost. What was it? It was one playoff game. Who was it? Oh, never mind. I don't want to get started on that. I forgot too much. Another person is Don Wells. I was on an email thread on an email group, and it got to I was posting my Gilligans Island lyrics for Stairway to Heaven, and I looked it up, and Gilligan's Island Mary Ann died on December 30th.
She did.
Complications from COVID, yes.
Well, she was
Don
the last
Wells.
surviving member. I remember when somebody else had died from Gilligan's a short while ago, when she was the last surviving member, and then she did some interviews and so forth, and she died. Oh my God! When? December 30th?
December 30th. Yeah, I had a major crush on her. I didn't care about Ginger. It was Mary Ann.
Oh, wow! So there's no more surviving cast members. The whole island, the whole crew, they all died.
The whole island, yeah.
Yeah, They never got off the island.
Well, didn't they get off the island and then they made a movie and they made a resort and they all ran the resort together. At least Skipper and Gilligan, a bunch of them came back. They made that movie. It was called Return.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
the sequel.
Was a sequel.
That's right.
Movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they got lost. I think they got lost again at the end of it, though, didn't they? I don't remember.
I don't remember the movie.
That's the way I would have written it.
Yes, I would have too. Come sit right back in the here at hell. Oh my gosh. Wow. No, and maybe that one last year. The guy Kent McCord, I think it was. Not Kent. Remember the TV show Adam 12, the '60s? Adam 12.
Yeah.
Two LA policemen, Kent McCord and one out of 12. Yeah. Oh, do you know something? Let me think about this. The dispatcher, the woman who played the dispatcher on Adam 12 was somebody's mother.
Many women are.
I hope so. I hope so.
Let me look it up for you here.
Go ahead. I'm obviously having a problem here. That's what Chet does. We talk about things, he looks it up, he fills us in. What would be? I'll tell you.
And that's a great thing.
Isn't that a great thing?
Yes.
Martin Milner.
He always had his computer.
I loved Marty Milner in that wonderful series Route 66.
Yeah.
Was a Corvette 62 vet, man.
Yeah. God, I remember
my boss in Atlanta, 65, had one of those.
Wow. Do you remember Highway Patrol with Broderick Crawford?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I remember the music. I remember the TV show Combat with the guy who, Dick Morrow. Combat with Dick Morrow?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
We can't forget about Burt Reynolds movies neither.
Yeah, Starsky and Hutch. No.
Yes. No.
No.
What was Burt Reynolds movie?
Somebody.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah,
Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, Smokey.
My band opened for Jerry Reed one time in Dixon.
Really? Wow.
Blew him off the stage.
Wow. I bet you did. I bet you did.
Well, it was interesting. Yeah. It was 2 shows, 900 people at each show. And we were the opening act, and we did about a 25, 30-minute set or something, 40-minute set. And so we did the first show, we did our set, and we were in the back at a table autographing cassettes. Metal dated.
Real.
And there was this big long line of people waiting for our autographs. And I'm sitting here, this is weird. And meanwhile, Jerry Reed's up on stage trying to play. And The second show, he came out roaring, and he was awesome. The first show, he kind of phoned it in. It was towards the end of a long, bus ride tour, and he died soon after that, so he probably wasn't 100% physically, but he showed the flash of glory in that second show. I was really happy to see that. I never got to meet him either. He just hung out in the bus until it was time to go on stage, and then bam, he'd hit the stage and then go back to the bus.
Oh man, that's kind of cool. That's very cool. But still, you're on stage. You're on the same stage. You shared the stage.
Well, the other funny story is I was standing at Jerry Reed's monitors, and he must have really been deaf towards the end because they were just loud, and during sound check I said, "Hey, can we turn these down a little bit? It's killing me." And they said, "We do not touch Mr. Reed's monitors." So,
oh my gosh, really?
So I had my ears blasted. Had two of them. 15, man, pointed right at me.
Jeez.
Turned up to 11.
Chet, you were gigging. You were playing. You were playing out over the holidays. That's pretty cool. Good for you.
Yeah,
Good for you.
We last month we had 10 farmers market gigs, man, and most of them were 4 or 5 hours. So yeah, it was great fun.
That's great,
man.
And we're playing this Wednesday and next Sunday too. So the beat goes on.
You keep them busy.
Wow. I host a singer-songwriter showcase in South Pasadena, California, on most Thursday nights, and it has been absolutely terrific. It's great for me because right now I was supposed to go to Austin this month and then over to New Orleans, and just nothing's happening. I'm not traveling. First of all, I'm just not booking anything. I still have Las Vegas for the end of this month, which I'm probably going to do. Who knows? But I had so many travel plans that just aren't happening. But I have this one steady deal, hosting and performing at this emerging singer-songwriter showcase I call Song Splash at the Universe on Mission Street in South Pasadena Thursday night. And it gets me on stage, and I get to play. And the turnout has been just terrific. The audience has been amazing. And
that's good.
I get to play a little bit because there was a period of time here, months ago, where I picked up the guitar, which I haven't been doing all that much. And I asked myself, if I got booked for a show tomorrow, could I do an hour and a half set? And I thought, no, I couldn't. I mean, I could probably just take my way on the guitar and come up with some stuff, but I don't know songs that I just knew by the back of my hand because I played so often, but I'm not playing at all, and I have to relearn the words to the tunes. I don't remember. I couldn't, say, Andy, go on, you do a 45-minute set, I'd have to play real long versions of 3 songs.
Well, unless you, only thing you got to do is say, whatever that.
Yeah, I kind of do that anyway, I think, but yeah.
Scat. Just scat.
I let my iPad be my memory.
Oh, so do you take words on?
I've got all my lyrics on iPad in OnSong, and I was hopeless with lyrics back when I had to, in the olden days when you were supposed to memorize 4 sets of them, and so this is really great now. It's okay to have an iPad sitting in front of you and just read them.
We have some folks that come out to the songwriter thing, and we have a music stand there, and I'm probably going to get rid of it, but we have a music stand there, and sometimes people come up and they have sheets of paper, a book, and they open the words, they strum their guitar, and they look at the words, and they sing the words, and I'm like, so let me ask you a question. You don't know the song, but you're performing the song, but you don't know it. So the question is, how attached are you to the emotional statement of what the song is. You don't really know it. And how can you effectively, on an emotional basis, in an energy, and make the song land? How can you project and present that material outside of having it sung and be heard, which you can sing the words and play the chords will sound great, or will sound great. But to make it land, to really, what does it mean to you on an emotional basis? And if you want to get your audience that has a meaning to you, that song is in your heart and you're putting it out there because it's more than a song, it's more than chords and the guitar. And that's what you want to push out to the audience and make it a land. Whoa, I felt that. I didn't hear it, I felt it. Woo! Right? And so I have this thing about, and this is something I wish I could do now, because believe me, there's some new songs I'm learning and songs that I'm writing that I just say to myself, I'm just going to take my damn phone up on the stage. Read the words. And I'm like, hell with all that other shit. I'm going to read the words.
Well, my quick answer is it's like everything else. Practice, practice, practice. I've been doing it for so long. And then the other thing is, for the last 15, 20 years, I've been concentrating on telling a story rather than playing and singing a song.
Yeah,
so the whole thing to me is telling a story. And it would be like someone sitting in a library telling the story with the book open in front of them.
Yeah.
So they still can engage with the audience. I still make eye contact as much as I can. And I've glanced down at the lyric to catch the next couple lines, because my memory's always been horrible for lyrics. I've always fluffed the lyrics. And it's a lot more fun to be able to actually, sing the words the way they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what it is.
Instead of going, wait a minute, I'll remember the first word of the next verse in a little bit. So just hang loose. Instead, I can just go through the story.
Yeah. I did one of these these little showcase sets. Talking about a month ago, and they also they don't sell wine there, but they serve wine there. And I had a whole lot of red wine, maybe a couple glasses of white, and something else before I left the venue. And I got up on stage, and I wasn't drunk, I was very coherent. But I got up, and I started playing, and I didn't know what the hell I was playing. I didn't know what the song was.
You was playing Red, Red Wine. Please
one song to the next, and I couldn't remember any lyric all the way through. I remember a verse or a line, and I started putting together different lines from different songs. I just put them in there. They're just like, if you put in a blender, you stir it, and see what comes out. And, okay, I'm in A minor, boom, A minor, D minor, G, whatever, just, and I'm on stage, I'm looking down at the stage floor, thinking to myself, what the hell am I doing here? What the hell? I gotta go find a job.
I'll tell you, there's one Hawaiian boy, one Kanaka, Israel Kamaka Viva Ole, who his big hit was that
really?
Somewhere Over the Rainbow. He just totally threw all the words in a blender, and the story goes at 1 or 2 in the morning and tossed it into a tape machine.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's totally scrambled. I mean, he just, kind of like, it was a great song.
I guess, I used to,
that's how you make songs.
Yeah. When I first started.
Kamaka Viva Ole. I got to learn.
I'm going back almost 30 years when I first started, and I was playing these showcases myself, and I used to see people get up with their guitars. I guess it's the people keep the paper and the music stand, and they don't engage the audience. They're looking at the words in the music stand the whole time, and they play their G, C, and D, and they read the words and they get off, and I'm like, it doesn't do anything for me. Well, you know something else? This is interesting. Talking about music here for a minute, folks, obviously. But I was teaching seminars and one-on-ones for a music chain called Sam Ash Music Stores in the United States. And they endorsed the program I wrote called Fast Track to Guitar. And
I remember Sam Ash. That's where I bought my first snare.
Yeah. Well, they have 44 stores across the country, and they they endorsed the program I put together, and they hired me, more or less, for lack of a better word, to teach seminars, workshops, and also one-on-one lessons that people paid for, with me. And so they booked me pretty good. I actually enjoyed it. It was the closest thing I ever had to a real job in decades. But anyway, so I had them order a bunch of books that had the 6 strings on the guitar, just empty. I don't know what you call that. Just the 6 strings, and you can write the chords in, in the frets. You just draw little circles, whatever that book is called. And I would, because I showed these. I instead of showing ABCs and scales and chords at the beginning, I started primary students with some very, very advanced technique and chord shapes, and then walk backwards to figure out how we got there. So they're starting out of the gate day one, playing some stuff that guitar players, after doing 5 years playing, they're doing that in the very first lesson, so to speak. And so what would happen is I started out by drawing, here's this shape, and don't call them chords, we call them shapes. And here's this shape, and we're going to move the shape from here to here, we're going to move the shape from here to here, that's how you make the sound like this. And then they'd come back the next week, and they'd open up the book on the music stand, they'd look at the chord charts I wrote the week before, and they'll look at the music stand. I'm sitting back with my arms crossed, looking at the student, look at the book. And what I would do is I'd reach over, and I would turn the music stand around. I'd literally turn it around and say, play the damn guitar, make some music, make some noise. I don't want you to look at anything. I want you to I don't care what it is, I want you to play guitar. And there's such a distinction between playing and practicing. Even though I have a whole YouTube series out there, I think I've got 100-some YouTubes where I give various coaching techniques and some song requests. A lot of people request John Prine and Chris Smith or different artists. I never show a song. I will never, ever show how to play a song. But what I do is show some of the techniques and some of the skills and some of the passages that you can integrate into either that song, a song of your own, or another song. But here's how you do this technique, and here's how that artist created this technique. What can you do with it? How are you going to work with this technique and make it your own during the time that you play the tune? And so I've always had this thing where I say, never practice the guitar. And sometimes a kid with their parents would come pick up the kid from the session. And as they leave, I would say, remember, never practice. And the parents would turn around and look at me like I'm nuts. What do you mean never practice? And I would say, don't play it to you, or she'll play it to you. And I used to say, just pick up the guitar and play. Because when you do that, when you pick up the guitar, it's on your lap, and you strum a chord. Are you practicing it, or are you playing the chord? Am I practicing the chord? Am I playing the chord? No, I'm playing it. So even if you practice, what are you practicing to do? You're practicing to play. Well, you are playing, so play it. And the conversation that you have in your head when you sit down, even if you play in front of the mirror and make yourself your own audience, you sit down and play. The conversation that you have with yourself as a musician is a whole nother level than sitting down. I've got to sit down and practice. I got to practice the piano. I got to practice the guitar. Versus, God damn it, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to play the guitar, man. I'm going to make something happen. I'm going to play this damn thing. And whether you get it wrong or get it right or it's not like perfect, who cares? Play it. Play it. Keep playing it. Keep performing it. Keep performing what you're doing. And that applies to every instrument. I don't care if you're playing the piccolo, the recorder, the piano, the bassoon, the drums. Pick up your instrument and play it. Make something happen. Feel that energy. And feel the difference psychologically, what happens in your head when you're sitting down to make something happen, create a difference in the world, create a difference with your music, a difference in the universe with what you're doing at time. Whether you're playing in front of your dog, whether you're playing at a folk festival in front of 7,000 people, and I've done both. And that conversation is remarkably different. When you sit down, I'm going to perform this, man. I'm going to sit down, and even if there's nobody in the audience, it's just me in my living room or my bedroom, whatever, I'm going to pretend that I'm on stage playing in front of a whole group of people. What are you going to make happen? How are you going to make the world different?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Okay,
yeah, music heals the soul.
It does.
Music heals the soul.
Except for the banjo. All you can do is try to control one of those.
Because they'll start controlling you. It'll start controlling you.
So they can take you right into the weeds. No, it's the things you're saying there, Andy. It's like boiling it down to the real essentials, and that was the wonderful thing about my lessons with Mark Bonilla back in the 80s. he told me on the phone, I'll teach you everything you need to know, all the theory you need to know to play lead guitar in 10 lessons. And I said, hey, yeah, right.
Exactly.
But, for $10 a lesson, what the heck? And and I was coming off years of being a drunk anyway and needed something to do. And so I went over, and sure enough, in 10 lessons, he taught me all the theory that you ever need to know. And it really is pretty simple, it's scale and how it's put together, and that's it. Bink. And then we spent 2 years getting me to try to do some of it. And I've been working on it ever since. This is like 40 years, and I'm still working on stuff he told me. But playing, I tell people, when they say stuff like, "Oh, I'm tone deaf," or "Oh, I wish I could play an instrument," and da da da. Around here, I tell them, go buy a uke, learn a few chords, have fun, and that's really play a song. Learn a few chords, play songs, have fun. Don't worry about it. I messed myself up for probably the first 30 years I performed by wanting to be better than I was, or wanting to be as good as Tommy Emmanuel. Good luck. And then I finally realized, well, I can be the best Chet that I can find. And that's when I actually got happy.
Underline that. The best Chet that you can find. Because here's the deal. Tommy Emmanuel, I played shows with Tommy Emmanuel back in Pennsylvania. Actually, on the first couple of trips over here. But I've met him on several occasions, and I've done shows with him. 99, 2000, right in there. Here's the thing, and he's a wonderful guy. God, I mean, if he's got a guitar case in the airport, and he's walking down, and he meets somebody, and somebody asks him a question. Oh, can you show me how you do that? He'll take his guitar out right there and show you. I mean, he is amazing. He is one of the most remarkable guys you ever want to. Oh, great. But here's the thing, and I learned this just from performing, being on stage and touring and performing, that Tommy Emmanuel is as good as Tommy Emmanuel is. Chet Gardner is as good as Chet Gardner is. Chet Gardner does what Chet Gardner does. Tommy Emmanuel does what Tommy Emmanuel. So there's no saying that you don't do as good as you do is what he does. What he does. You do what you do.
And
he does what he does.
And we're also probably both find a real joy in learning more.
Yeah.
Never satisfied, although content, but never satisfied, and always trying to learn more.
Always. And for me, and I don't even, I'm like really into this, the psychology of learning, teaching, behavioral change. And to me, I mean, learning is obviously learning. You learn something. And what is the actual definition of when learning takes place? It's not, you can play something, and let's say I played something, and then you repeated it because I showed you exactly how you do it. That's rote memory. In other words, I show it to you, you play it back because I showed you exactly how to do it. But does that mean you understand it? No, it doesn't mean you understand it. And even if you understand it, you just really learn it. Not necessarily. And what is an indication of when somebody really comprehensively digests something to the point where they know it inside out and can take it and maybe take it to another direction? That is when learning has actually taken place, and that is the final step. That's after rote, that's after understanding. The last step is behavioral change. So if you take something on the guitar, the bassoon, the tuba, and you play a scale, you play a song, and I can play it back. Oh, now I understand the relationship between, if I put the fifth note in the bass or the first note in the bass, I put the second and third version of the chord, let's say. But now I'm able to integrate various versions of chords and how those chords resolve to the next chord, and I could do it on my own and have a whole lot of fun with it. Well, I couldn't do that yesterday. Now I can do it today. What does that mean? I can do it on my own. That means my behavior has changed, and that's when learning actually takes place. So what I like to do is I'll show somebody a chord pattern or notes or shapes or figures, and then what can you now that you know that, and you know you can switch the order of those notes around so they sound differently when you play them, although you're playing the same exact notes. But the order in which I strike them changes the whole how they land and how they are perceived by your audience. It's a whole different ballgame. Even though I'm playing the same three notes, the same ones. Whoa, how does that work? What can you do with that? So go ahead, play with it. Don't practice it, play with it. And the difference is incredible. And I guess you know what? I think the best teachers aren't teachers at all. They're coaches. They're coaches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess I'm going.
Well, that was the deal with Mark, Andy. That was the deal with Mark. The first 10 lessons were the teacher, and then the next 2 years was the coach. And he was a brilliant player and a brilliant coach. And the stuff he imparted, like I say, I've been using for almost 40 years now, and always find new things. But yeah, the other thing I was thinking of while you were talking about it is somebody, like Rote learns the scale, Rote learns the shapes, and I also look at them as shapes. And I also use the Nashville Method, so I don't even think of the chord names. I don't even bother with those. It's 1, 3, 5, 7, 6 minor, etc. But it's when the student or the person trying to play music starts evolving what they've learned. In other words, come out with different stuff that has their personal imprint on it. That's when you know that they're on a good path.
Yeah. You're so right. It's interesting. I'm trying to think scales. Scales are, there's 8 notes from root to root. Let's say C to a C, G to a G, E flat to an E flat. There's 7 notes, and then if you go to the root again, it becomes 8 notes, right? And it's interesting that what I would do is, and I had this thing about teaching scales. So I would go to a student who's never played guitar before, never ever played, and I'd look at the clock. Let's say it was 10 o'clock. I'd say, look at the big hand, the little hand of the clock, right? It's exactly 10 after, it's 10 o'clock right now. And the cool thing where I sit versus where you sit, the cool thing where I sit is right now I have the knowledge that by the time that big hand hits the 10 after mark, right now it's on the hour, so 10 minutes from now, you're going to know how to play every single major scale on the guitar, and you've never ever played guitar before. And to me, I'm loving this. I'm loving this because I'm about to make a huge difference in your life, and there's nothing, you can tear up my paycheck, because for me, it's about making a difference in your life. That's why I do this. It ain't about the money. It's just a problem in life. But anyway, and then what I do is I want to show you the pattern on the guitar that I'll play all you have to do is know the one pattern, and you can do that pattern anywhere, and you'll be able to move the pattern, and the notes are the same. I mean, it's not the same notes, but the positions are the same. So you'll play every single scale if you play that pattern at different places. If you base the first note on the 6th string of the low E string, move from the 3rd fret, 5th fret, 6th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret, do the same exact pattern all the way up the neck. You'll play every single scale. Now, do you know what the notes are? Hell no. Hell, I know what the notes are, but here's the scale. I have no idea what note I'm playing. No idea. I know what the bass note is because it's easy. I can play with the 6th string, the 3rd fret, the G, the 5th fret, the A, the 7th fret, the B, blah, blah. So I can figure out what scale I'm playing. But what happens between the low B and the 2-octave up B, I have no idea what note I'm playing. And then after a period of time, via that type of coaching, they can learn what all those notes are. Now they might not say what is the 9th fret G string? Quick, what's that note? I don't even know. I couldn't tell you that. I have no idea. I take me a minute to pick up my guitar and tell you what it is, but I have no idea. But I know I could use it if I'm playing a solo or playing a shape. Do you know? Do you know the notes of the guitar? Like, what that is, like 9th fret G string, without even thinking about it. That's pretty much
how Mark Bonilla started the first lesson. He showed me the shape, the patterns of the F major scale, starting at the 1st fret, 6th string, all the way up to the 15th fret, first string, and he kept it down to just 3 patterns, really. You know, there's the E shape, there's the D shape, and then the A shape, and that was it. And so I would sit hour after hour running my fingers up and down until it became second nature, and then all of a sudden, I just from that I learned where I could put my fingers without sounding horrible as a lead guitar player.
I love this musician talk, man. I love musician talk. This is awesome, man. To the listeners, you are learning from the greats.
And also, her name was Sharon Claridge, and she actually was a real LAPD dispatcher who made extra money dispatching on Adam 12.
She died September of 2021, right? Yep.
That is correct. 15 September.
Hey. Yeah. She was a real LA. Yes, getting back to what we were talking about before. Yes.
We came all the way back around. Now all we need to do is hum the Highway Patrol theme, and we're there. Yeah. I remember those old 1950 Ford police cars.
Yeah.
I'll never.
Oh my God.
With a big old antenna whipping around in the back.
Oh my God.
Tied down on the bumper.
And do you remember Marcus Welby, MD?
MD, yeah.
Remember, and that's and Consuela, the secretary, his name was Consuela. Oh my God, how do I remember that? And do you remember Chad Everett? Chad Everett played a doctor. What was the name of the hospital program that Chad Everett played the main physician in the same time period as Marcus Welby? Chad Everett. Thank you. Can you look that up real quick, Chad Everett.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Chad Everett, TV show, medical show, 1960s. Are we dating ourselves now, Cornell? Oh my God! I had a birthday.
And of course, I still cycle through my entire DVD collection of Have Gun Will Travel.
Really?
Oh yeah, that's what I watch in my bathroom when I'm taking a bath. I watch an episode of Have Gun Will Travel every time. So that makes like at least
relax you?
6 or 8 episodes a year.
Wow.
Joe Gannon, Medical Center.
Joe Gannon, Medical Center. Yeah. Right. Oh my God.
69 to 76.
Woo. Yeah.
Man, Chad, you have your computer on deck.
Well, we finally have fiber, so I don't have to wait too long, and it doesn't go out when it rains.
Oh, it's
yeah.
I had fiber back east. It's phenomenal. 200 megabytes up, 200 down. Bam, bam. Unbelievable.
We have the advantage here of actually having 2 competing phone companies.
Oh, yeah, I got one.
Wow.
And so one of them took a look at these big dark areas where people had no access to high-speed internet, and then moved fiber cable out to us. And I jumped on it as soon as it was available, and so we're saving $200 a month for internet that's about 20 times as fast. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, we may have lost Andy.
Oh my gosh, Andy disappeared. He probably went to the bathroom. That's what he did. He usually do that when I'm breaking.
We could talk about him.
Definitely, we could keep talking about him. Yeah, Andy's on the phone. He's not on our program.
He is an amazing natural guitar player. It's sort of
yes, he is definitely.
It's Andy's personality comes out on that guitar. It's really fun.
Yes.
It was great fun chasing his tempo to put that album together.
Well, you did a hell of a job.
And chasing his chord changes. I swear, he's so used to playing alone.
I'm back.
Each verse and each chorus was different from every other verse and chorus. Oh, you can't talk to him about him anymore.
I got disconnected from the internet again. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jeff. You're talking. Go ahead.
I found recording across 3,000 miles an intense learning experience.
Really?
Gee. I got
chasing Andy's tempo and chord changes.
My God!
Really something.
Yeah, I had.
Well,
I laid down some tunes in the studio one time. They brought in a band after I laid down the initial tunes, and the drummer came in. The drummer was in my band, so he knew me, but I didn't play. They brought the guys in way after I left. I did the tunes. They brought the band in, met me, a couple guys at the time, whatever it was, and the drummer said, "Damn, he was slowing down, I'm speeding up, and for a drummer coming after the fact, I can't play to a quick track. I cannot play to a quick track. I just can't do it. But I can play to a drummer. You give me a drummer right there in the pocket, right? But I can't play. I just can't do it. I can't do it at all. But you were amazing, Ken, how you were able to hang in there and produce the tunes that you did, knowing that what the hell are you doing? Where is he going?
Well, that brings up an interesting. We finally got our advance from Numero Group, the record label in Chicago.
Really?
Whoa.
And vinyl is like backed up big time. Vinyl is actually outselling CDs now. So the vinyl factories are just totally slammed. So the record,
had a discussion yesterday about vinyl.
The compilation that the song that we recorded in 1970 is coming out on is sort of tentatively scheduled for the spring. So pretty soon it'll be released, vinyl and download, and then our complete album that we did will be download only. But we recorded a whole bunch of songs, and then we hired Chicken Hirsch, who's Country Joe and the Fish's drummer, to come to our little living room studio and lay down the drum tracks, including the one on the song that's coming out. And he had to put the headphones on, and he listened to about the first 20 seconds of the first song, and then he took the headphones off and looked up at Bob Orban and I and said, "You guys didn't use a click track, did you?" And we looked at each other and we went, "What's a click track?" So Bob went out and bought a fancy metronome, and I started working with clicks in 1970, 71, and could do it. but it took a while.
Vinyl is the new thing now. Vinyl is the new thing now. Yes, it's selling. Because they make
I'm going to have to unpack
players.
my turntable so I can play my own record now.
Yes, I have a turntable by Crossley. Record player. Like Jimi Hendrix, all that. Mm-hmm. That's the new thing.
Back to 78. We'll bring it back to 78 before you know it. Hey,
yes, we need to.
The first record I ever recorded is on a 78, back in 1961.
Whoa, really? Whoa.
Yeah.
Unreal.
It was, hand cut. We had one microphone in this dingy little studio, and we recorded 2 songs direct to acetate, and then he copied from that and made 1 copy for each of us. So our record sold 4 copies at $10 each, which was some real money in 1961.
Yes.
And I still have my copy, although the glue on the label let go years ago, so I keep it in.
What was those little teeny records? Do you remember the time we used to have the little teeny? It used to be a record, album, a vinyl album, but it used to be a smaller version. What did you call those? And
well, there was
put,
the
like
45,
something in the center.
The 7-inch EPs had 4 songs.
The 45, yes.
Well, there were 45s, and then the same size, they started making 33 1/3 EPs, so you could get 4 songs on a 7-inch record. And that was actually, back to the story, Bob and I released 4 songs, including the one that's coming out in the spring, as we pressed a couple hundred copies of an EP to give out as Christmas presents and everything. And the artwork was done by our drummer in our collective, Jeff Chandler. And somebody in Texas discovered one, and somebody in England discovered one, and then Jeff, a friend of Jeff's, is actually the producer that's releasing the song on Numero. So it was sort of the EP that we put out started resurfacing about 10 years ago. People would find them in used record bins. Summer Madness was the group name we used.
Hey, Chet, you heard they scheduled NAMM, which is the National Association of Music Merchants, the most amazing music conference in the world. And they scheduled it for June. It won't be January, but they...
I saw that.
Yep.
I'll have to see. I'll have to see if we've gotten through Zeta by then.
You're funny. Hey guys,
but maybe I could have you. You know,
sorry.
You have to go
maybe I could have you get a spare room available, and I can come over and we can hang a little.
Yes.
That would be great. Listen, folks, we are about out of time. We just got the heads up, and the lights are flashing here. Chet, thanks so much for calling in. I'm going to invite you back on the show again next Monday if you can make it, because I'd like to talk more music, and I got some ideas here. I got some ideas about the music and coaching and instruction that we might be incorporating.
Yes, thanks, Chet.
Yeah, so I really appreciate that. Cornell, always a pleasure. Hopefully Amanda will be joining us back on the show on Wednesday. Again, our number here is 515-605-9888. It's always a pleasure. We're looking forward to a great year ahead on the Andy and Amanda show. Again, Happy New Year to everybody. And on behalf of Amanda and Cornell and, of course, Chet Gardner, my name is Andy Kimball. This is the Andy and Amanda show. And now we'll go to another exciting end of our first show of 2022. So, Chet, why don't you sign us off? What the hell?
Yeah, sign us off, Chet.
Yeah, Chet. Yeah.
And the Andy and Amanda show have been brought to you by Viagra and Bud Light, and the wonderfulness of our own bad selves, and of course our producer Cornell Butler, who we could not do without.
Oh,
aloha,
nice.
Nui loa.
That was great.
Thank you, Chet.
That was terrific. A real pro.
Thank
you. Folks, we'll see you Wednesday. And thanks for listening to the podcast. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye now.
Take care. Bye-bye.